Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the return of the fifth dimension. But should I say return? Because the fifth dimension never leaves us. It's always there. Sometimes it's sleeping, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I was actually thinking about pushing the start time of this show like 5 more minutes because I forgot how much Dark Domination slaps. But anyways, we are joined by one of my good friends, another amazing, capable content creator when it comes to Kingdom Hearts. As we talk about the Melody of Memory Spoilercast, there is your one and only warning. Please welcome Limitform72!
Oh, little old me. Hi guys, Limit here. It's nice to be here to talk about some Melody of Memory. I have been playing this game non-stop, as HMK knows. I literally cannot put the controller down. I'm playing it right now. But yeah, I'm happy to be here to talk about the future of the series. I'm really interested, very, very interested in the direction that we're going since we're in a new, I guess, universe, or how the game puts it, unreality. So, we'll see what happens.
Unreality, bro. We got so much to talk about, but since this is Limitform's first foray into the fifth dimension, you know, you guys already know, every time we get a new guest in the fifth dimension, we gotta get our feet wet with familiarity, and I just gotta let Limit know that, you know, in Dragon Ball FighterZ, man, you free as fuck.
Excuse me?
You free as fuck.
You ain't talking to me, dog. I'll free you up on this stream right now.
Listen. I didn't say I free you up, because I'm free as fuck, but you also free as fuck. I didn't say I was gonna free you up, but you do get free.
No. I'll get on the game right now. You won't.
No. Anyways, that's that. Man, yo, see me when they make a Kingdom Hearts fighting game when Source comes to Smash.
Bet! I'll be the best.
Yeah, okay. Anyways, Melody and Memory, guys, big thing when it comes to the end of Kingdom Hearts Melody Memories is that we finally have the name. This is obviously the business way to, like, you know, go into the spoilers or whatnot. We finally have the name of Yuzora's world. As we know, the world of Vane Rex, as we called it, Shibuya, but technically it was two well-known city districts within Tokyo, the Tokyo metropolitan area, which is Shibuya and Shinjuku. Shibuya is obviously the 104 building, which is actually 109, and then Shinjuku is where you see the Tokyo Metropolitan Government Building, which is that building that Yuzora was sitting on in the Yuzora Secret movie. That's Shinjuku, and then Sora woke up in Shibuya, Raikou, Shinjuku, Sora, Shibuya. But I digress very much, because the world is apparently known as Quadratum. And Limit, buddy old pal, you wanna let the chat know what Quadratum means in Latin?
Oh my god. Well, to my knowledge, since it's been spammed on every type of social media since the game came out, Quadratum means square. Am I correct? It literally means just square in Latin.
When I saw that shit, I'm like, you have got to be fucking kidding me. Really? I'm like, okay, all right, Square, we're going, man, we should just straight up spam them, like, after, okay, on the 11th, guys, on the 11th, because, no, the 13th, I should say, on the 13th, I'm telling you all right now, and I want Limit to join me, and I want you guys to join me who's in the chat, on the 13th, Limit, since it's a month after Melody of Memory comes out, I just want us, well, not really spam, so just don't actually super spam them, but I just want to, at Square Enix, calling them Quadratum Enix, since they want to play games.
Say less, dog.
Man, they want to play games, so I mean, like, you guys are not Square Enix anymore. You guys are Quadratum Enix. You guys want to play games? I mean, shit. So, like, but all this considered, when it comes to the name of what it means or whatnot, I think Quadratum is actually a badass name. When the name starts at Quadratum, I'm like, dude, that sounds so fucking cool. What'd you think about that when we finally learned the name?
I did very much like the name. Of course, I didn't know it meant square at the time, but I really enjoyed the out-of-the-box name that he came up with. But at the same time, it's like, it's Nomura. Like, come on, like, square. Like, I digress. It's such a good name. It's just a cool sounding name, and I can't wait to see what is in, or what entails in Quadratum. Like, what is there?
Right. And speaking of Quadratum, don't get your, like, a lot of people I don't know if you saw this also on social media, but a lot of people were like down or sad. I want to say mad, but they were kind of peeved or whatever that, you know, the name didn't turn out to be Shibuya, right? And I really don't think that's what we're going to, because I want to assume that since we saw, like I said before earlier in the stream, that Raikou wakes up in Shinjuku and Sora wakes up in Shibuya, I'm thinking that Quadratum is like the world name of all of those districts of like straight up Tokyo, all of those metropolitan areas of Tokyo, all of them come together to make Quadratum. And within Quadratum is going to be Shibuya, Shinjuku, probably Harajuku, and a couple of other districts. What do you think about that?
I think that's right on the money. Like, I don't think that it was anything less than that. I don't know why. I mean, I can see why people were a little peeved at the, you know, that being the case, but Quadratum is definitely or at least I want to say is definitely the greater whole of where they are. It doesn't really make sense for it to be like a specific place. It's just a whole like world that they're in. So
right,
that's my thoughts on it.
Man, dude, this. And later on in the stream, we're going to talk about how Melody of Memory just makes Kingdom Hearts 3 hit so different. Because when the gears started turning in my head a couple of days ago, I was just like, bro, they really, like, if you guys didn't know, me and Limit are going to connect the dots for you as the stream goes on. But if you guys didn't know, oh, snap, that's why you put your phones on silent, people. If you guys didn't know, there was a lot of deep-seated, like, me and Limit was able to put together a lot of deep-seated shit that was in Kingdom Hearts 3 that was just straight up being set up for Melody of Memory, Union Cross, Dark Road, and anything forward beyond with Phase 2 of Kingdom Hearts. And it's crazy how after you play Melody of Memory with all the implications that you see at the end of the game, and you go back to Kingdom Hearts 3, you're like, huh, alright, which I mean, like, it's you know, it's not out of the question, it's not out of the realm of possibility that video games or any type of narrative does that when you read something or when you watch something, and when you go back, you're like, huh, wow, you know, it's all connected dots. So when people say like, oh yeah, Nomura, he's just, you know, writing things into oblivion and shit, I'm like, bro, like, give the man some credit. He does seed some stuff or whatnot. I'm gonna bring up one thing that I've noticed, and I want to see if you can bring up one thing that you noticed when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3 Melody of Memory. So we're gonna go across the floor. The one thing that I really did pick up on, and I'm like, bro, no way, is finally Melody of Memory may have finally answered that dumbass question that we were all wondering for us for 2 years, when Xemnas is like, you four are going to reveal your greatest secret yet, the ancient Keyblade legacy that dwells within you. And of course, when he was saying that, he was talking to Marluxia, Larxene, Demyx, and Luxord. And at the time, we thought we kind of had everything under control, especially considering that a lot of people, many of us included, that he must be referring to all of them because they've all must have existed during Union Cross, because at the time, Remind wasn't out, and Elrena and Laurium were running around in Union Cross, so we were all assuming, okay, so Demyx and Luxord are from Union Cross. And then along comes Remind, and along comes Yozora, and along comes Mr. Butler Luxord, who is the one driving around Yozora, and I'm like, okay, see, now this is what we call a monkey wrench, people. This is like throwing a monkey wrench into the whole thing, so we couldn't really make heads or tails of that, and that's one thing that got us really confused. Along comes Melody of Memory, and at the end of the game, at the very end, after credits or whatnot, when Kairi is talking to Yen Sid lets it out of the bag that apparently the ancient Keyblade Masters, or the ancient Masters, or the ancient Keyblade Wielders, apparently had the ability to phase into another world. Which is this world of fiction, this world of unreality that they're messing around with Quadratum and whatnot, and that apparently Xehanort's been trying to mess around with for some time. This goes along in line with a couple of Xehanort scenes that we see in Kingdom Hearts 3. This goes along with the epilogue where Luxu, aka Xigbar, summons all these other, foretellers back, specifically Ira, Gula, Aced, and Envy. And this also goes along with the Yozora secret movie, where we see the Master of Masters in Quadratum, the Verum Rex world. And then when I start putting two and two together, I'm like, hello. So this basically answers the question that Xemnas was posing to the four of Marluxia, Larxene, Luxord and Demyx. Now that we know that Luxord at one point existed, came from, or whatever the fuck, was in Quadratum, that means he was one of those that was able to phase in and out of reality and unreality from the time of Union Cross. I'm not saying that he's the true identity of the player, one of the true identities of the Fortos. All I'm saying is that he probably came from the time, along with Marluxia, Demyx, and Larxene, from the time where learning that power was possible, and that, you know, Xemnas, Ansem, all parts of Xehanort was really looking into that all ways they could, and that's Luxord was one of the four that, like, Xehanort must have picked up. It's like, okay, these four probably had that power somehow, and like fucking connect the dots right there. I'm sorry, that was me long-winded, but that's fuck. Limit, take the floor. Go for it.
Okay, so you definitely informed me of a lot of things there, because, again, I haven't had many chances to sit down and talk with people about what I thought about the ending and how it connects with all these games and all that, but when it comes to KH3, the ending of that, when it comes to Union Cross, when it comes to Dark Road and all of that, there's also another part, or a situation that I'm waiting for, as you've already covered. Basically, Demyx, well, we've seen Marluxia, and we've seen Larxene, there's somebodies or whatever. I'm waiting to see more information when it comes to Demyx, when it comes to, obviously, Luxord, but we know now, because of the KH3 Remind thing, and basically the ending cutscene of that is where he is involved in some way to Quadratum and Ysora and all that. I don't really understand. I'm pretty sure that we only have a few more updates until the ending of Union Cross. I'm not sure. Yep. I'm pretty sure there's another one coming at the end of this month near. Mm-hmm. So, when are they going to cover when it happens to, like, Demyx or these other characters that are obviously tied to the Keyblade's Truce, or the ancient Keyblade's Truce, or what they said in KH3? When are we going to get more clarification on that? Are we going to get it in Union Cross, or are we going to get it with this next upcoming game, whenever that may be?
I feel the next game, I feel it's going to be the next game. The very next game. Because the way that Melody Memory ends, it just sets up. And no, that's the one thing I'm like, bro, I've been wanting to, like, talk to this to someone for the longest. And bro, can I say how fucking happy I am that Melody Memory sets up Verimrex so Verimrex, Ysora, Quadron, whatever the fuck. I'm so glad it sets it up so fucking hard. Like, bro, like it has to be the next game, because, like, Raikou's like gone. Raikou's like, all right, I'm out, and he's there, and I'm like, thank you, Lord, because I always thought, man, I was so afraid that we had to wait like a couple of games leading into that whole notion of, like, oh, like they had to, you know, Melody of Memory, game 1, maybe game 2, and then they finally would locate Sora. But Melody of Memory's like, nah, man, we know, we got a name, Raikou's gone, let's get it, and I'm like, yes. So I really do feel the next game is going to answer all those questions. And, you know, one thing that's telling me is that, you know, obviously Quadratum Square 4, that number 4 is really testing me, because, you know, obviously it's a what do you call them, an even number, and then, you know, 4 divided by 2 is 2. You know, like, here, there's your mathematical equation for tonight. Yo, do your homework, kids. But two people, Marluxia and Larxene, have been heavily featured in Union Cross, the time of the Age of Fairy Tales. So it's telling me I want to be sure that Union Cross and for Union Cross, Marluxia and Larxene as Elrena and Lorium originated there. And I'm thinking that Luxord and Demyx originated in Quadratum. And that, you know, with 2 from Union Cross, 2 from Quadratum, that all 4 of them apparently might have had the ability to phase in and out of, you know, reality and unreality. And that's why Xemnas gathered those 4 specifically and whatnot. And I'm guessing that Luxord and Demyx might have had a hand or was present during the break, you know, and that's what ties them all together. And I feel that before the break happens, you know, Luxord and Demyx are going to show up from Quadratum, maybe as an act, maybe to see what's going on, maybe to like, you know, scope out the world, maybe warn them or whatnot. But I feel that those two are from Quadranum, while these two are from Union Cross. So that's what I'm thinking.
That makes a lot of sense, because that explains why we haven't seen anything about two of those people over in Union Cross. That makes a lot more sense. Okay. All right. I was like, wait a minute. That's actually really cool.
Oh man, yo, dude, I'm just, cause I'm excited for this Quadranum universe, cause like when it comes to the characters that we do know for a fact are from there, or at least are from there, is IngSara, the Nameless Star, who is the lady character that IngSara tried to save, but couldn't. And y'all thought I was crazy, and I called that shit months ago, but y'all thought I was crazy. And then I'm actually gonna say something really funny but fucked up at the same time. So is IngSara the Nameless Star, Luke's sword, or the somebody persona of Luke's sword, Magia, and Aegis. And Demyx could probably be one of the, like, you know, it's so funny because Demyx could probably be the one rolling with them, and he could be like the goofball, I don't know, the goofball music player and stuff like that. I don't know. He could just probably be like, you know, like people say the Prompto of the group, and I'm like, I can see that. But I feel Magia will be like the Prompto of the group, because I mean, if you take a really good look at Magia and Aegis, Magia looks like a fusion, an amalgamation of the designs when you take Prompto and Arden, and while Aegis looks like a combination between Ignis and Gladio. And I'm like, I see what you're doing, Nomura. I see what you're doing. But the fucked up thing I want to say before we continue is that Limit, isn't it kind of funny how IngSara, obviously, you can, like, the chat, the cat's out of the bag. Nomura's all like, oh man, this is not based on Versus 13, it's not based on Noctis. And then we see the fucking secret endings of Kingdom Hearts Rewind. Isn't it funny how IngSara, based on Noctis, IngSara is Nomura's second attempt at Noctis, and it's the second time that this character failed to save the one he loved?
That is fucked up. How could you say this? That's crazy. It is pretty funny. In a kind of messed up way, but no, that's terrible. Hopefully this time, spoiler alert, 15. Spoiler alert. Hopefully he can save the girl this time at some point in his life. But I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. I don't know.
That's
0 for 2 right now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. This character's 0 for 2 right now, like, across the universe. Holy shit. But regarding Quadranum, the ending of Melody and Memory and whatnot, what took you by surprise the most when playing Melody and Memory and finally getting to that cusp of realization?
Well, basically, when I got... Well, there's two things. There's two very, very important things. The first one... Kairi and the direction that Nomura wants to take her in regards to future games, how she's going to be trained under Aqua, which I think is such a good idea. That is so
anime as fuck. I love it. I love it. I was hyped when she said that. It's like, actually, I like to go train under Master Aqua. I'm like, let's go, Aqua Kairi game. Give it to me now, Squirt.
It's definitely something I was waiting for, and at the same time, like, initially when she said that, I was like, oh man, they're gonna put her on the back burner. But at the same time, I thought about it literally 5 minutes later. I'm like, that's such a great idea, because when she's ready, she's going to be ready for whenever the big thing happens, or I guess right before Sora comes back, she's going to be ready. No more training after this game. She's gonna be focused on a lot more, I feel like, in the future games to come. And that's so good that she's training under Aqua. It makes so much sense, which I don't know why I didn't think about it sooner.
Bro, get this shit. Like, just imagine they straight up pull the fucking... They straight up pull Naruto bullshit where, like, Sora is gone, and as soon as Sora gets back, by the time Sora gets back, Kairi's already a master. So, Raikou and Kairi will be master, and Sora won't be.
That's crazy.
Like, just imagine that shit. Like, by the time Sora gets back, Kairi's already a master. Dude, I will fucking lose my mind. Like, oh my god.
That's so cool. That'd be so cool. I'm so down for that. And I think the second part that really got me was the fact, and I think you brought it up earlier, the fact that they didn't just leave us on a cliffhanger, right? They literally confirmed that this next game is going to be in Quadranum or whatever. We're going to be taking that next step into the next unreality, as they put it. I was so afraid that they were just gonna tease it as you said earlier, to pan out a few games before jumping into Quadratum, but they're not doing that. We're going there, and I am so ready for it.
Now let's talk about that for a second, all right? Jesus, man, I'm just imagining, like, this is the question. I'm just imagining how that game is going to be, how the Quadratum game, how Kingdom, like, it could be Kingdom Hearts 4, we don't know. I mean, like, Melody and Memory seems to be like a really good setup to the next saga, the next phase of Kingdom Hearts, even though phase 2 has already started. So, I mean, like, Melody and Memory could be like the chain of memories to Kingdom Hearts 4. So, I mean, I think, yeah, it could be Kingdom Hearts 4, but I mean, if it's not Kingdom Hearts 4, then it's still gonna be a big boy game, right? So, how do you think that's gonna start? Do you think we're just gonna dive right into, like, Raikou waking up in Quadratum? Do you think we'll play as Yozora first? Do you think we'll have to play as Yozora and Raikou in order to unlock Sora's storyline? Like, bro, the possibilities, man. Like,
there's so many possibilities. We could start off as Raikou. We could start off as Yozora. We could be flashing back and forth between Kairi and what she's doing with her training. We can, okay. And then there's also another thing. We can see, because they are now saved, we can see what Vane is going to do. We can see what the Sea Salt Trio is going to do and how they're going to be involved in the story, because they can be now. There's too many possibilities for me to sit down and be like, well, they could do this or that. Like, there's too many. I can't really tell you. Like, I'm so excited to see where. I'd be happy with any avenue they decide to go down. In terms of, like, starting the next game, I'm down for anything.
Man,
you've got my attention. You've got my money too. So
right, holy shit! Like, Square has a huge fucking grasp on my wallet. Speaking of which, also guys, be sure to check out the Ridge wallet. This video has been brought to you by Ridge, the Ridge wallet. It's indestructible. You can get so many flavors and colors and whatnot. It fits snugly into your pocket. It's really nice. You know, it's bulletproof, but don't try at home, please. Don't. But it's really nice. Like, you know, it holds up to 13 cards and room for cash. The Ridge wallet.
You're so lucky to be sponsored by Ridge Wallet. I want to be sponsored by Ridge Wallet. I was just talking to Dean about this like last week. I'm like, dog, I would do anything. Ridge Wallet is so cool.
You heard that, Ridge? Right. You heard that, Ridge? All right, get my boy Limit. So, when it comes to Quadratum and that game, I like from the perspective of what we're getting at, how it's starting up with Raikou going there. I feel like this is what I say this time and time again. I feel that this is what Kingdom Hearts needs in order to go to phase 2. Because a lot of people has said, oh, Kingdom Hearts should stay the same. They're losing their identity and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, listen, this game is about to hit 20, right? And you can't keep going as a series if you don't evolve, if you don't shake it up. And I feel that this game, this series going into Quadratum, with Raikou going after Sora, with Yozora being introduced, I feel that this is the shakeup that the series needs in order to stay fresh, in order to stay new or whatnot. But here's the big question, and I've been like, I've been going through the avenues in my head to try and make this work, and I only come up to one thing, which seems to be a really big gamble, and that is obviously like, if you guys don't know, guys, like, bros, take your tinfoil hat off. Kingdom Hearts is owned by Disney. What I want to know is how Disney is going to be incorporated into the Quadratum game.
Oh, I'd never thought of it. Oh, no.
Because it's such a far cry from what we've known with Kingdom Hearts. And the only thing that I draw back to is that Disney, like, you know, like this is how I picture the fucking board meeting, right? Is that, Mora, you've made us so much money. And, you know, you've really put Disney on the map of video games and stuff, and you create this guy Sora, whatnot, and we trust you entirely when it comes to the games that we make and stuff like that. You know what? We want to pay you back and allow you to create a game that, you know, you can do whatever you want. Of course, it's still going to be Kingdom Hearts, and Disney's going to be on the brand, but if you want Disney Worlds or not, it's up to you. And I feel that Quadratum may be the second, actually, when you look at the second ever Kingdom Hearts experience, not game, experience, to not feature any prominent Disney characters as we know it. Because the first technically was Kingdom Hearts Key back cover, right? Because that did not feature any type of Disney characters. It was all original characters and whatnot. So I feel that the Quadratum game could be that again. And then Nomura will be like, this is what I wanted for Versus 13 or some shit like that. Right, but I want to throw the ball to you and ask what you think.
Well, That's a really good point that you brought up, because I think at it and I look at it like this, right? So, as we all know, right, as we play KH3, there is a very, very prominent feel of Disney, more so in that game than I feel like has been in any other game besides like the main KH1, KH2.
Right.
Disney was all over KH3, and I feel like because of that reasoning, maybe Disney will be like, since we played a huge part in KH3 and you let us do that or whatever, here's our thank you to you. You can do whatever you... Well, not whatever, but you can have majority free reign when it comes to Quadratum or this next KH game and how you want to handle said game. I can only imagine that's how the conversation could go, because we got so much Disney in KH3. I just really feel like I'm personally okay with... little to no Disney this next game. I'm perfectly okay with it. Like, I am 100% okay. He can do whatever he wants. I'm all for it. It's just that, will Disney really let him have creative freedom when it comes to this next game? When it comes to Disney, like, will they let him do new prominent Disney characters from newer movies or, things of that nature? But again, I'm fine with no Disney in the next game. I'm sure there's others that would disagree, but we just got so much Disney recently that I feel like it's okay to take a break from it until we finish this arc, I guess. And, until we get Sora back and the gang's all back together and they want to do another, like, new story arc or whatever. But for right now, it's okay. Just you can put Disney on the sideline. That's okay. Let's just focus on what we have in front of us and give Nomura the creative reign that he so desires when it comes to Quadratum.
Man, I'm excited for this game. And the fact that, Nomura seems to, like, he's been dropping hint after hint. This man is all like, 2022. Like, because, as we all know, that Nomura recently had that interview with Dengeki Magazine, where he said that when it comes to Kingdom Hearts news on new games, Kingdom Hearts is going to take a break in 2021. Which is fine, because 2021 we're getting The World Ends With You, Neo, and whatnot, and... we're still going to probably get story updates throughout 2021 when it comes to Unicross and Dark Road. And I am good with 2021 being like a break for Kingdom Hearts, because, Square Enix makes other games, if you guys didn't know, Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest. But he did say, like, all eyes on 2022. And that has me... And he's like, surprises, you're going to like it, big, new, 20th anniversary, just like all those fucking buzzwords. And I'm just like, bro, this has to be the fucking Yozora game. This has to be the Yozora game, and I'm itching to play as Yozora. I'm itching to see Yozora again. I'm itching for my Yozora player. It's Kai. Yo, give me that shit. I'll buy 5. Bro, man, dude, just... And... I'm excited for that. Now, Limit, I'm gonna confide in you a little bit. I had a dream, and this dream felt so real. And I'm like, bro, listen to me, alright? Listen to me. You know how Quadratum is very Final Fantasy-esque technology and all that good jazz. I'm just saying, I had a dream of the Quadratum game out and about, and I'm playing the game, and I like Yozora, Raikou, Sora's all there, and on the street in the distance I see Cloud driving Fenrir, and I'm like, he disappeared from Kingdom Hearts 2. Oh, shut up. I'm just saying. I am just saying. This will be the perfect opportunity for Sephiroth and Cloud to be back. And it would make a lot of sense, since Quadratum is a world, like, I've been saying this for more than a year, but y'all didn't believe me. Once again, man, I'm 2 for 2 with this 5th dimensional place. That Quadratum is a world without light or darkness. And, I feel that Sephiroth and Cloud is like, let's settle our score in a place where light and darkness won't get in the way. No hanky-panky, like, follow my heart, help this shit bullshit. Sephiroth's like, no, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you without, you getting help from Tifa or Sora. Fuck that shit. We going to Quadratum, and that's probably where they went. And,
that's such a good idea. Oh, that's such a good idea. I miss my boy Cloud, I really do. I miss him so much. Sephiroth, it's been too long, dog. We only have one winged angel and Melody of Memory to actually remember you by. I That's such a good idea. What kind of dreams you be having, dog? Like, you need to share more of these. Hello,
bro. Because I mean, like, I'm just imagining it, like, just on the streets, Fenrir, just like, man, imagine like Sora or Raikou runs in the cloud, is like, oh, you're here? It's like, yeah, man, I just wound up here. It's like, I was looking for Sephiroth, but I couldn't find him, so I just, like, you know, now I'm doing a delivery service, kind of like how you did in Advent Children. Bro, I'll lose my mind. I must be out of my fucking mind. I must be out of my fucking mind. Holy shit.
That's so cool. Oh, that is so cool.
No more. You know it has to. You know it needs to be done. I'm done playing games with you. Like, stop doing this shit to me. But on to the next topic. Here's another thing that when it comes to the connecting the dots, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, or man, like not even Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, just Kingdom Hearts 3 Base and Melody of Memory. You guys remember? And for all of those, you know, who have seen the ending, like, ooh, wasn't that crazy? You guys remember the ending where, what do you call them? Raikou finally used the power of waking, thanks to using the Nameless Star as a conduit in order to reach Quadratum, and the effects that was happening and whatnot. It was like, you know, the beam of light shooting up to the sky, and the sky looked like really stormy, hurricane-like, you know, Eye of the Storm type shit. If you actually put that side by side to the cataclysmic event that you see in the Verum Rex trailer, where, haha, the Nameless Star was, you know, doing this purple beam of light, and it was like swirly clouds, and then you see the building, you know, like just phase into the ground, stormlight. It's literally looking like that. It's literally like the kind of the same thing, just hearkening to each other. I'm like, huh, I see what you did there, Square. And then one big kicker that I didn't really follow up on that until now is that, isn't it funny, Limit? You can recall that scene in your head, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Isn't it funny how when she was doing it in the Verum Rex trailer, how when the storm was happening and the beam was shooting that building was phasing into the ground, it was going down, and then how when Raikou was going to Quadratum, he went up?
Yeah, I remember that.
Isn't it like literally Quadratum is like on top of the Kingdom Hearts universe?
Oh my goodness, I'm about to rewatch the scene.
Like when she was doing it, the building was going down, but when Raikou was going to Quadratum, he was going up. Like, I'm just, I love Kingdom Hearts, man. Like, bro, I love this game. Let's go. And but like, you know, the question that I want to know is that how exactly did, like, there's one thing that I really want answered in the Quadratum game or the next game or whatever, the future of Kingdom Hearts, is that, like, obviously, like, the price of the power of waking meant Sora had to fade out of this world. And, you know, the thing that you guys need to understand is when it comes to the notion of world, it's really weird. And, like, you know, Kingdom Hearts does it, but whatever. When they say the world or world or whatever, a lot of the times they mean universe, right? You know, obviously it's made up of separate worlds, but like the world is the universe and whatnot. So when Sora fade out of, you know, his world, he ended up, I would say, in the final world version, like the Quadratum's version of the final world over on the other side. And I want to know exactly how Yozora got there and how Sora got there. And, you know, if the fact that when Yozora beats Sora, Sora beats Yozora, them winding up in the daytime final world, does that have any bearings? I just want to know exactly how A got to B. And there's just a lot of questions I have to ask about that. Like, what do you think about that when it comes to that perspective?
I honestly think you're right on the money yet again. Like, that's just okay. So opposite parallels, but it makes sense, right? You see the daytime, you see the nighttime version. I remember Yozora talking about having gone through some trials. I don't know what those trials are.
I want to know what those are.
I perhaps will find out, obviously, in the next game. But I really the answer to that question, I assume, will be from the answer we get from the trials or whatever the trials entail. Because when I hear trial, I'm currently playing Through the World Ends With You.
I knew you were gonna bring it up. I knew you were gonna. Yep.
I'm playing through it right now. So when I heard trials, obviously that just rang alarm bells in my head. So I assume it has something to do, like maybe a version of those types of trials, without trying to spoil. I don't know. It's really hard to sit down and be like, well, it could mean this or it could mean that. I have no idea what he means by trials. What he went through some trials and he ended up there. So obviously it wasn't by his choice. I can only assume.
Right.
So I don't know. It could be anything. I really, really want to know the answer to that question of what are the trials that he went through.
Yeah, because I mean, on the side for Sora, I feel like the biggest way to answer the question for that aspect is that probably, you know, Luxord's card bound him to Yozora or bound him to Quadratum, because like, oh, a wild card, you've earned it. You know, it could turn the tables and whatnot. And obviously, we see that Luxord possibly is from Quadratum and whatnot. So I feel that Luxord's card is what bound Sora to Yozora or Quadratum that got him there. But I want to know how Yozora got there and whatnot. And man, there's another thing that's hilarious about the whole notion of the world of fiction, the world of unreality, and I'm like, this is what. As soon as I saw that ending, I'm like, you guys are like, Nomura, you're fucking hilarious, isn't it? Like, isn't it funny that how they say, oh, the world of fiction, the world of unreality, how they believe that their world is reality, their world is true, their world is non-fiction, when it's literally a world that based on established video games, established movies, which obviously is fiction. But when you have a world that's based on the real world in real world places, like Shibuya and whatnot, that's fiction to them. Isn't that funny?
That's insane to me. Like, what jurisdicts them saying, this is real. Everything that's on the K side of things, that's not real. But this right here, this is real. It's actually pretty funny the way now that you bring that up.
Man, it's like it's fiction, and I'm like, bro, no, I was screaming at the screen. It's like, it's a world of fiction. I'm like, no, you're fiction. No, like, this is not how it works. You're fiction. Like, bro, I'm over here, you're over there. Like, the fuck, fiction. Get the fuck out of here, Ansem, bro. Now, speaking on Ansem, there's another case in point with how deep-seated, you know, the I would say, the hints for Quadratum, the hints for what TARawson, I keep calling him TARawson, but because he is TARawson, he's just Apprentice Xehanort, you know, TARawson but older, and then whatever, lost his memories, got longer hair, nicer hair, whatnot. It just really boils down that, you know, both Ansem and Xemnas, in their own way, they weren't, you know, it's funny because I thought for the longest that Ansem and Xemnas had their own specific ideas to, like, I would say, rebel against their bigger half, their bigger whole, I should say, in Master Xehanort. But like the whole time, they were just like conduits for his main plan that he always was, you know, trying to figure out. And it's like, oh, where's Quadratum? How do I get to Quadratum? Ansem, the reason why he was looking for Subject X, who, you know, thanks to Kingdom Hearts character files, is basically like, you know, it's you know, the worst kept secret that Subject X is sculpted, right? And Ansem was looking for her in order to figure out more about the Keyblade War, and as case in point, when he connected over to Melody and Memory, was trying to figure out what she knew about crossing over into the other world and whatnot. That was Ansem doing his own thing. Xemnas was doing his own thing by trying to figure out through the likes of Larxene, Marluxia, Demyx, and Luxord, right? And see, they were both doing their own thing, and that was like literally like the plan put into motion by the grander whole and whatnot. I'm like, look at all this shit. Like you playing the game, and then like, oh, unanswered questions. Oh, now we have answers because Xehanort was looking for a Quadratum. And why was Xehanort looking for a Quadratum? And I feel like the biggest case in point, and the same reason why the Master of Masters was phasing in and out, probably from the world of Union Cross into Quadratum, is that I feel like the biggest answer to the entire problem that Kingdom Hearts faces, that Xehanort and the Master Masters is trying to answer, is they're trying to figure out how to have a world to be sustained without light or darkness. Because from their concept, it's like, oh, if light exists, darkness exists. If darkness exists, light exists. And if they both exist, they're both gonna fight, and then and then it's gonna keep, you know, leading to the apocalypse, right? But over in the world of fiction, Quadratum is a world without light or darkness, and they're trying to figure out the secret of that world to, like, oh, how do you have a world that could be sustained without either? So I think that's the main question that they're trying to answer.
Huh. That's actually so. I, again, never thought about. That's so dope. Hello? Oh, man. Give me this game already, please. Just fast forward to 2020.
Man, here's a question for you. Do you think we'll get the game in 2020, or you think we'll just get the main announcement in 2020? Because I believe, I think they're working on it right now. I really think, I think they're working on it right now.
Of course. Well, yeah, no, I definitely think that we'll probably get, well, someone in the chat said both. I don't know. I feel like we will get the game in 2022. They're trying to work hard to get the game out, I assume, by the anniversary. It would fit perfectly with the 20th anniversary. There's so many variables, though, but from the fact that they've been working on it since, I want to say, obviously after KH3's release up until now, and then fast forward 2 years down the line, we'll get the actual game. We might see maybe a trailer or two, maybe near the ending of 2021. And then after that, it'll obviously say, oh, well, it'll come out later half of 2022 or whatever. So I definitely think that it would come out 2022 just for, if not only for the anniversary and how he wants to make it big. You know, it's the 20th anniversary. So
right.
I can only assume that we'll get it then.
Like, the only thing that I feel could get in the way of all that is that, you know, Square Enix obviously understands that there is the possibility that games could cannibalize other games, right? In terms of initial sales. So the only thing the only thing I feel is getting in the way of that is that if Final Fantasy 16 comes out 2022, and I doubt that he wants a game like that to compete against a game like that. So I feel that maybe 2023 might be like, that's only that's only if, like, you know, things are going around like that. Maybe it could be possible that the game, like that Kingdom Hearts game, comes out 2022 for the 20th anniversary, and that Final Fantasy 16 ends up coming out 2023, because I mean it's gonna be a PS5 title. So I mean, maybe.
That's very true. I know there's Final Fantasy 16. I know from what I read in interviews or whatever, the game has been in development for the last 4 years before they actually announced it. So taking that in consideration, I feel like that would come sooner than this 2022 game for KH, but at the same time, factoring in Final Fantasy 16, the new KH game, and then there's also Final Fantasy 7 Part 2. I'm not sure when we'll see that. I assume 23, 24, maybe. I don't know at this point.
I wish we wouldn't have to wait so long. Man.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe next year. I don't know. Like, we get Remake Part 2 in 2021. We get the Kingdom Hearts Verum Rex game in 2022. We get 16 in 2023.
Oh, that'd be a dream.
Fucking slappers after slappers, man. I think that would be good.
They got a very good hold on, I guess, because in past years, obviously, they would announce games way too early. And obviously, people had a problem with that. But from what I can tell recently, they've really got a hold on that, because there's, KH3 came out. A year later, we got Remind. And not even a year later, we got Melody of Memory. I feel like they have a very decent grasp on their development times and when they want to announce things. So I trust them when it comes to that from now on, whenever they want to announce something, and we could probably take a guess on when it's going to come out. Obviously, they haven't said anything about Part 2 of Final Fantasy VII Remake because they don't want to announce it too early. So, knowing that, I assume, what's that thing that's coming up? Is it Jump Festa?
Jump Festa is what happens at the end of the year, yeah.
Okay, so I assume maybe we'll get a trailer for that, maybe, but I highly doubt it. I don't know. We'll have to see what happens.
That would be the place they would do it, honestly.
Yeah,
that would be it. And man, because one thing that keeps boiling down to the ideas of, like, maybe we get this game sooner than later, and we're gonna get a lot more games down the line, is the fact that they teased that fucking Phase 2 panel where it had, like, we still have 7 more titles, 7 more things to go, and I'm like, bro, man, what? Like, so I feel like there's a flow chart in place already. There's like 7 more titles, 7 more experiences, 7 more whatever the fuck's whatnot. Because I mean, like, during its heyday in Phase 1 of Kingdom Hearts, there was a time when we got, like, back to back title releases when it comes to 358 Days, Birth by Sleep, and Recoded. So I mean, like, maybe we could experience something like that, you know, very soon or whatnot. Yeah. Year after year after year. And bro, I'm just bro, this game, where Kingdom Hearts is going, just has to be hyped beyond belief. I'm like, bro, Yozora, and man, as soon as I get a grasp of Yozora, since, like, you know, obviously, like, the next game is probably more than likely going to feature YuZora, as soon as I get a grasp on the boy, I'm like, bro, I do not want to let you go. Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere. It's like, oh, but we have to bring Sora back to our world, and, you know, that's YuZora's world. It's like, no, YuZora, you coming too. Like, the fuck? Like, nah. Dylan Sprout, stay here. You staying here. Like,
I agree. YuZora is so cool, dog. I don't want to see him go. Please stay here.
Man.
I don't care what you have to do. Bring your girl. Bring your boys, like, stay here.
YuZora is the Sora of Phase 2. Like, I do not want to see him gone whatsoever. And, like, you know, I feel that Quadratum may not be a one-off thing, only because of how integrated it is now with the Master of Masters. Because that's one thing that Melody of Memory also did for me that I really liked. It finally answered the question of the connection between the Master of Masters, the Foretellers, Union Cross, and Veramrex and Quadratum and all that thing. Because by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind, you know, Veramrex and YuZora kind of threw a monkey wrench into, like, the prospective plan we had into play, thanks to, you know, the next chess match or the Foretellers returning or whatnot. It's like, okay, it's Sora against the 7, you know, the Foretellers, Lushu, and the Master of Masters and whatnot. And then we get the secret move with YuZora. I'm like, huh, so YuZora is real. How does he fit into all of this? And then Remind just made it like a million times worse. And I'm like, okay, so how does YuZora fit into all this? And now Melody of Memory is like, this is how it fits. I'm like, huh. So I feel that Quadratum is going to be a lingering entity after the Quadratum game, after they restore Sora and whatnot, thanks to, you know, the connection that has been apparently made between the Master of Masters, the Foretellers. Oh, the Ancient Masters had the power to phase into another world. This world is one without light and darkness. Master of Masters is like, this looks like a nice place to kick it and whatnot. So I'm very excited and hopeful that YuZora is going to stick around, that Quadratum is going to stick around and whatnot. And I just really want to know. I want to know what's going to be established as the next big bad of Kingdom Hearts, because the way that the chess match is looking is that it's looking like to be the Master of Masters, it's looking like to be Lushu, it's looking like to be the Foretellers and stuff like. But, you know, like, considering what we see from Union Cross, they're not bad guys, you know. They're just, you know, their morals are just out of whack, but they're not bad guys. So I just really would like to see what's established to be the next bad guy, and if it's gonna be the Master of Masters, I'm ready. Yo, Ray Chase, let's go. But in that sense, you know, what do you feel about, like, you know, the future when it comes to the lingering notion of Union Cross, Quadratum, and all that good jazz?
Honestly, I don't have much to say about it. Anything, literally anything, could happen from this point going forward in any form of any of the games that happen, like Dark Road, whatever, Union Cross, the next Quadratum game, whatever happens after that. Hopefully, again, like you said, they keep with YuZora even after that's all said and done. But the next big bad of the game could be Master of Masters, could be somebody in Quadratum, who knows, Lushu. Like you said, they're not bad guys, the Foretellers. They're a little out of whack, for lack of better words. They're not organized. So it's hard pressed for me to say that they could turn into the big bads of the games or whatever. I doubt that would ever happen. But Master of Masters, even him, he does not strike me as anyone that's evil. Because your little idea from before really got into my head. It's like, he's just trying to find a place where there's no light and darkness, there's no fighting. It's so good. I love that, like, idea. So it's like, he's just trying to accomplish his own goal in his own way. But at the same time, that could just, you know, conflict with the efforts of Sora or Kairi, whoever, the people on the side of the light or whatever. It could conflict with that and make him end up being the bad guy. So I'm all for it, of course. Ray Chase, my boy. I'm down to see that. Make him the bad guy if you want. Introduce somebody new if you want. It's fine. I'm just open to any possibilities that the game has to offer at this point. Really?
Because, like, Quadratum, that whole notion of, like, you know, unreality, phasing in and out and whatnot. I want to think for a second that there has been a very big silence when it comes to the whole notion. And this is, like, you know, the kind of the breadcrumbs that Nomura is leaving us with Kingdom Hearts 3 Remind. There's, like, a very big silence in what I like to call the blank here, right? Which is the 1 year gap in which they were looking for Sora, right? A very big silence from the likes of the Foretellers, from the likes of Lushu, from the likes of Maleficent and Pete, from the likes of Larxene, Marluxia, Demix. Obviously, we kind of have an idea that Luxor was hanging in a certain place. Honestly, Limit, I'm thinking that's where they're at right now.
It could be. Like you said, it's been an entire year. So what have they been up to?
I think they've been spending the whole time in Quadratum this whole time. And then, whatchamacallit, that'll explain why they're so quiet in the Kingdom Hearts universe. And that would make them great supporting characters that could get fleshed out in this Quadratum game. Like Raikou shows up there and then just sees and then he shows up there and then along the way he sees Laurium, Elrena, Luxor, Demix, all of them there, just like, you know, doing their own thing. And I'm like, bro, that would be sick. That would be no more. Like I honestly thought I had a beat on this, man. I said this before, and I'll say this again. Like, by the time of Kingdom Hearts 3, by the end of Kingdom Hearts 3, I was like, okay, so what Nomura needs to do is that he needs to, like, really establish the next problem. And the problem that was established, like, oh, Sora's gone, and Yozora is here. That's a big problem. And I feel that, you know, I honestly thought, how can Kingdom Hearts shake it up for me to, like, you know, I've been with Kingdom Hearts more than 10 years, and I'm like, dude, what can you do now out of the bag in order to get me hyped? And I'm looking at all this, like, Yozora, Quadratum, Ancient Masters phasing in and out, Skull Kaido. I'm looking at all this shit, I'm like, bro, okay, alright, man, I see you, nice.
I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it.
I'm so here for it. Now, I like, here's the thing about the fifth dimension. I know one thing you're not here for. Yo, man, we're going to Quadratum. Guys, we're going to Quadratum. Limit and Dean and Sky are going to have to deal with the Gigases again.
I'm going to leave this call. I promise you, and I will not come back. I hate Gigas so much. Don't ever again in your life bring them up.
What do you mean, bro? What do you mean?
Fuck Gigas.
What do you mean? It's
Gigas. I'm tired of it.
Dude, it's like, it's set in stone. Like, the future has already been written. Come on.
It's going to be like Dream Drop Distance. I'm going to be playing through it, and I'm going to be fighting these Gigas. I'm not going to be happy about it. I'm going to do it, but I'm not going to be happy about it. I don't care. I hate stupid fucking robots. Whatever.
Oh my god. And then, like, you know, people were arguing like, oh, maybe that they were only in maybe they're in the toy line, and maybe that's where only Yozora and blah 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 blah. But then when we fought Yozora, we saw him summon Gigases, like those realistic looking scratched up Gigases. I'm like, hey, because personally I don't have a problem with Gigases. I actually like Gigases, but I knew that all these other fuckers were gonna have an aneurysm as soon as they got to that part with Yozora, and they did, and they complained on Twitter, and I'm like, I'm just here with my popcorn, and I'm like,
so much. I don't like them. Oh my god, everything about Quadratum is actually so cool idea-wise. You see your boy Yozora, he's cool, his friends, his girl, really, really nice. And then you see these stupid-ass robots. Nobody wanted you here. Why are you here? Go away! Why? Whatever. I'm done. Fuck Gigas. That's my last statement on them.
So, you want? Whoa. Yo, guys, I got the fifth dimensional juice flowing thanks to Gigases. Whoa. You guys ready for the next fifth dimension theory on stream? Oh, guys. Now that we know that it's a world based on fiction, that Quadratum is a world based on fiction, everything coming out of it is based on fiction and whatnot, and that Xehanort and how Xehanort all like basically share a brain, whatever. And you know how young Xehanort created that split world in Toy Story, and Nomura really wanted that Toy Story world in. Bro, like that was the whole point in our faces. Those toys, the Gigases toys, the Vermarex video game that was in the Xehanort created version of Toy Box, it was fiction. It was toys based on fiction. It was a video game based on fiction, something that didn't really exist according to the notion of unreality and unfiction. And then that was like young Xehanort trying to, like, I guess young Xehanort created the Venomrex video game, the Venomrex Gigases, and how he understood, like, you know, this world and whatnot. You get what I'm trying to say?
Ugh, Gigas.
Oh my god. This man's just like, man, you're just talking about Gigases, man. I don't care or whatnot. But like, that's crazy, bro. Oh, I need to write that down. But man,
blast, but it had to be about Gigas. Yeah,
I'm sorry, man. No, you know I'm not sorry. What the fuck? I love Gigases, man. The fuck?
I hate to see it happen. I hate. Oh my god. I'm happy for you. At the same time, I'm not, but at the same time, I am. Nice. Congratulations, stupid robot.
You're gonna, dude. Yo, the Quadron game is gonna come out, guys, and then the first thing we're gonna see in that announcement trailer is a big ass fucking Gigas, and alright, guys, this is Limit's reaction from the future of the fifth dimension. Limit's reaction. Oh, the Square Enix thing, Disney. Oh, let's go. First thing Gigas is takes off his headphones, just walks away. That's it.
Exactly what I'm gonna do.
That's it.
Oh my god, I completely forgot. The entire time we've been streaming and we've been talking about Quadratum and everything. Why did I forget about the robots? Why
did I just ruin the game for you? The future is now, old man.
No. Listen. Listen. I like Dream Drop, right? To a degree, I like Dream Drop, but I also hate the Dream Eater, right? I just they annoy me. You can talk to Dean. They annoy him. Dream Eaters they give me aneurysms. So sure, I can play through Quadratum. I'll be happy with that. Anytime I see a Gigas and I hate it, I'm gonna think back to you and my hatred for these robots.
Yeah, just look at it and beat the shit out of it, man. And like from the way that Yozora fights in the Venomrex trailer, it seems like Gigases might not be much of a problem as they were like in, you know, initial playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 3. Because bro, like when I first played Kingdom Hearts 3 at the demo, at the premiere demo, when I first was fighting Gigases outside of a Gigas, I'm like, yo, this is rough. Wow. And I'm like, well, kind of like they're pushing you to use the Gigas, and bro, I love Gigas gameplay. I love Gigas gameplay, bro, man. Yo, Limit, yo, just imagine the fucking trailer of Quadrom and then just like Yozora just getting into a Gigas.
You can't see my eyes, but I'm rolling them. I just thought I'd let you know ahead of time. I don't even know where my hate. Well, actually, no. I think I know where my hatred spawn for these stupid robots came from. But I didn't hate them initially. When we were at the premiere event, we were playing the Toy Box demo or whatever. I was having the time of my life. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty fun. But somewhere down the line, somewhere down the these stupid robots, I don't know where my hatred for them actually spawned from. And Remind actually just made it worse when I get to Yozora's DM and I just see him throwing robots at me.
Now, here's the thing. Now, like, I'm sorry, but we're gonna keep talking about Gigases because this is actually really important, right? I like, you know, you might hate to see it, but I feel like Gigases are gonna be a very, very like stupid important to the storyline, because as we've seen the Venomrex box art on the back, it says things like, oh, reclaim your heart, and it's like, oh, you know, weapons brought great benefit to humanity, but you know it but their karma was accelerated and whatnot. As you see the warhead flash to the sky, you know, a place never to come back home. Anyways, but like it's all this whole like poetry bullshit about like weaponry and how like, you know, like mankind just saw a great benefit to designing weapons and whatnot. So that's part one. Part two is that Yozora is known, according to Luxor, Yozora is known as a commander. That's part two. Part three is that Yozora straight up summoned Gigases in order to like fight you in during his DM. That's part three. So, and then part four is that actually the Gigases toys show that you can people can go inside and pilot them. So I feel that within Quadron, Yozora is actually a commander of a platoon, a legion of people that would, you know, pilot these Gigases and whatnot, and that they will fight for him, or like, you know, like he was a person who led factions of Gigas and whatnot. Basically, long and short is what I'm just saying is like I feel there's gonna be a lot of like, you know, I would say like Gundam mecha type storyline, like esque storyline within the world of Quadratum, in which, you know, people are piloting these mechs. Yuzora is the one leading these people piloting the mechs and whatnot, and then these are the weapons that bring great benefit to humanity. But of course, you know, mass production of weapons lead them being able to, you know, fall into enemy hands. Now the enemy has Gigases and stuff like that. We have Gigases too and stuff, and then that's probably the whole deal, the whole spiel of what we saw in Vermrex of all the Gigases, you know, attacking and trying to steal away the Nameless Star when she was doing her own thing and whatnot, and then Yuzora fighting those Gigases and whatnot. So like there's probably going to be like a whole war of mechs, a whole war of people versus people, faction versus faction, Gundam type shit. I feel that's going down in Quadratum, and that Yuzora is a commander of all that. And then all I'm saying is Limit is just like, you know, I'll just wean off that little hatred of Gigasis, because I feel that you're gonna see them in very often in that game.
Unfortunately, I think you are, it pains me to say it, 100% correct. That's probably the road that they're going to go down, but it's fine. And when I do fight them, I'll just take out all my hatred and anger at them. It's a win-win. I'll get to enjoy a nice, cool story, and I can beat up on these stupid-ass robots. Like, it's
this is like all that long-winded stuff. This is the payoff that I was leading into, and I'm like, here, guys, here it comes. All right. So you know how you said that you and Dean hate Dream Eaters, and you think that they're annoying.
Yes.
So imagine that you know, there's gonna be missions within the Quadrom game in which Yuzora has to enlist people and then build up certain mechs in order to be better mechs, and then you have to, like, you know, command Mr. Commander the mechs in certain gameplays and stuff, and then you have to collect Gigasis parts. You're gonna have to collect people piloting the Gigasis and stuff like that. And that's one part of the game. How do you feel about that, Limit Bulio, pal?
That's crazy. I'm not gonna platinum this game if that's the case. That's crazy how I won't be able to go after these trophies like I do in every other KH game because they wanted to do these stupid missions with these robots. Whatever. I'll probably have to just bite the bullet and just do it anyway. I'll have to. I won't be happy about it, but I'll do it. It's like Dream Drop. I have the amount of hours that I have in Dream Drop is more than I'd like to admit, but I did it. I did it. So it's the same for this. I'll have to do it. It's whatever.
A fucking Yuzora bops a Gigas and then it blows up and it drops a part. And it's like, you've collected Gigas part green RXL. And then you're going to have to use those parts to create bigger Gigases. Oh, it's over. It's over, bro. Like, remember this fucking video. Remember this video, guys. Remember this video. Yo, gummy ships don't exist in the Quadrom world.
Oh no, we're gonna have to go to H place by Gigas. Oh no. Ugh. Why? I cannot believe I forgot about them until they were actually brought up. Like, it's a big part of Quadron. Like, why did I not think? Oh, stupid robots. I'll deal. It's whatever. Hopefully I hope that doesn't happen. Oh, for your sake and mine, I hope that does not happen.
What are you talking about, man? Like, bro, I play Pokemon. I play Monster. I play Monster Collection games, man. I had no problem with the Dream Eaters and Dream Drop Distance. The only problem I had was that stupid fucking theme song. That's it.
The theme song, your abilities are tied to those stupid Dream Eaters. I could go on, but it's fine. The game has been out. It's done. I don't have to go back. It's okay. It's fine. It's just a thing we have to deal with in our everyday lives.
All right, since I'm done with attempting to give Limit a stroke, I'm gonna throw the floor over to him and just, like, you know, what gets you excited? What gets you excited for the future of Kingdom Hearts, thanks to what we know in Melody of Memory? The floor is yours.
Okay, well, now that the cursed Giga Talk is done and over with, the thing that really gets me excited is just how, and I think I said earlier, how open-ended everything seems to be. Because before, and I will admit, there was a time from, I want to say, Birth by, well, it was like after Birth by Sleep, up until about KH3, or after KH3, where I felt I guess you could say a sudden disconnect with the story. I would still play for the gameplay, obviously, but the story I didn't really pay that much attention to. I wasn't as excited as I was back when I was playing KH1 Recoded or KH2, Days. But as soon as Remind hit, and I got to the ending of Remind, and then that already got me very, very interested. And then we get all the way down to Melody of Memory. I see that ending. I am so happy and so excited for what is to come in just the many possibilities, the infinite possibilities that could happen that Nomura could take us down to. He could do anything with this character. He can do anything with that character. What I really like, and I said it earlier as well, how the characters that we wish we saw more of but couldn't due to the circumstances that they were in, the Days trio, the Birth by Sleep trio, I really enjoy those characters. I love them to death. And seeing them obviously hurt and in a lot of pain and in certain situations, and we couldn't help them until obviously KH3. When we helped them finally, I was really, really happy with that. And then now they're free to do whatever Nomura wants them to do. They can be used in different aspects of the story. I really, really am excited to see what they could really do with Roxas, Xion, Lee, Terra, Ventus, Aqua after she's done training Kairi, how they're going to be involved, stuff like that. I don't know. It's just people say that Nomura is just some whack that just, creates ideas that are nowhere and has no footing for it, and obviously they're wrong. I am so happy that this man knows exactly where he wants to go with his story and how open-ended he left it, while also leaving hints about what could happen here or what could happen there. I'm really excited.
Right. It's just like you said, Nomura, this is Kingdom Hearts is literally his baby. This is a series that he owns it. He goes as wild. He's it's Nomura Unleashed, and he gets a lot of people sandbag him a lot because of that. And I'm like, bro, it's just him doing his own thing, and I'm here for it, bro. Of course, it's not perfect. No story is. But I'm loving the work he's doing, and I'm loving the work he's putting into these characters, and where they can go, where they can possibly go. And I would love to see that, because Roxas is my favorite character. Roxas is my favorite character, and I want to see more of Roxas. I will admit, Yozora's creeping, but I want to see more of Roxas, man. Give me the dueling buddy. Let's get it. And they could be fleshed out, because I've seen a lot of takes. I've seen a lot of people online saying, oh, their story is finished. Their story is finished. Their story is finished. I'm like, no, their initial arc of how we knew them is finished. Now that they're done with that, it literally gives them, like you said, room to adapt and evolve and grow and do stuff. Now that they're no longer bound to their problems. They might face a new problem. They might do this. They might do that. I want to see where they go from that. We know their history initially. We know their history and what problems they went through. Now I want to see how they grow as themselves as a person, with the notion of doom no longer looming over their shoulder and stuff, whatnot.
Exactly.
I want to see where they go from here. And Roxas, give that shit to me, because as we've seen, to put into perspective, obviously Kairi is meant where her own problem, and that's Sora, but she wants to train under Master Aqua. We know where she's going. We know where she's been through and whatnot, and that's what she wants to do. She wants to further her prowess with the Keyblade. Now let's take that and apply that notion to Roxas. Roxas undoubtedly is one of the most powerful characters we've seen in Kingdom Hearts, and he's the first ever dual wielder, and he's an immense Keyblade wielder. But for a good chunk of the time, and from what we see, he fights when he needs to, he fights when he wants to. Does he want to be a Keyblade wielder? From what we've seen, not really. Right? So when we compare the two, Kairi wants to keep going with the Keyblade. As for Roxas, nah, man. I can wield 2 Keyblades and I can beat your ass, but what do I want to do? Honestly, I just want to go to the beach. I have not been able to go to. He finally got to go to the beach at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3. But I guess he just wants to live his life as as an ordinary boy, something he never got. He was literally born into the dark greatness of being Sora's nobody, Organization 13, the Key of Destiny, all that good jazz. And he just wants to, now I'm pretty sure he just wants to do his own thing, right? And how do you have, like, where do you see someone with that much power go doing his own thing? That's what I want to know at Roxas. And there are so many, you know, different walks of life and different ideas and different perspectives that each of these characters have, that I want to see how they go when it comes to their own personalities and what they have and what they've done and where they could go. Obviously, it's going to be focused on characters like Raikou, Yozora, Kairi for a good minute, but I want to see where all these other fuckers are going to be. And let's not forget that Ventus recently got reunited with Kirthi, whatever, and that little boy has like fucking 50 metric tons of baggage. Let's not forget that. So I want to see where this dude goes off on, and then obviously, you know, I feel like Vanitas is still running around somewhere in his head and shit. So that's gonna be like a really interesting story, and of course, where Ventus goes, Terra and Aqua is bound to follow or whatnot. So man, to all y'all saying, oh, their stories are over, man, like, they're definitely not, bro. Get out of here.
Crazy. Just needs a vacation. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, he needs some downtime. He deserves it after everything he's been through. But knowing how the story is about to unfold, honestly, these characters could go through another whole mess of drama and trouble. But that's the point. We want to see that. We want to see where they go with these characters from here. And again, I'm all for it. I need to see what Rox is gonna be doing, what Shion's gonna do, what Lee, Aiza, like all these characters that were bagged before with their own problems, they're here and they can help. So I'm ready for it.
Oh yeah, I'm ready for that. And from all these revelations, definitely from Unicross, Remind, and Dark Road, it's gonna be very interesting to see how these characters like interact with each other and whatnot. Especially given, you know, like I said before, with the Ventus baggage, and that there might be a unknown survivor to the Dark Road stuff. Oh lord, they just hit us with the 1-2 combo when we got finished with episode 1 in Dark Road. My lord. And you know, the one who did not get smoked, he or she is probably, you know, running around right now. So that might be a thing we see in the future. And, you know, the whole notion of Scaled Column is still very prevalent, connected to Unicross, the Master of Masters, and now Mickey Mouse, because now he's going to be doing his research, studying, and his, you know, Scooby-Doo mystery files or whatnot at Scaled Column, seeing how the Ancient Masters are directly connected to the world of fiction, the world of Unreality Quadratum. Because I feel that we have an idea of what they want with the world. What I want to know is how they get to the world. And, you know, Raikou kind of answered half the question of that with, you know, he's able to get there with the power of waking using the nameless star as a conduit. But what if you don't have a conduit? How do you get there? How? You know, that's what I want to know and whatnot. So, bro, that. And I want to know, like, you know, like, Nomura is such a sneaky squirrel, because, you know, the fact that Melody Memory came out with that huge bombshell, like, he makes sure to get Kingdom Hearts 3, Remind, and Melody Memory out before the end of Unicross. And now that those are out, probably at the end of Unicross is gonna explain how the foretellers, because I'm pretty sure the foretellers have been chilling Quadrom this whole fucking time until Lucia decided to, like, you know, bring them back at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 base. And they're probably going to show how the after the Keyblade War, how the masters, you know, the foretellers basically dipped and stuff, and that's going to be something that's like, okay, you know, they're going to fight, the world's going to end, peace out, and that's it. They're gone or whatnot. So jeez, this game.
I love KH, dude. I love it so much.
I love Kingdom Hearts Remind, yo, bro. This game gives me the best type of headache. Oh god, I'm just ready, bro. I'm just ready to play as Yozora. I want to play as Yozora. I swear. I'm gonna be all types of angry if the Quadratum game, if Yozora's not playable, I'd be like, bro, who approved this? Who approved this? Don't get me out. Don't get me out of here and stuff. But with this notion of Melody Memory spoilers and whatnot, and now that we're here with Limit and whatnot, we're gonna now have the 15-minute talk time of questions. Now we're gonna open the floor to the chat to answer any questions that you may have to either one of us when it comes to how we feel about the ending of Melody and Memory. What do you think what we're gonna see in the games leading afterwards, Melody and Memory, Quadranum, all that good jazz, or just any questions that you want us to answer here on the Fifth Dimension. So go for it, and let's get this show on the road. So Limit, you still red on fighters?
Excuse me?
Are you still red?
No, of course not. That's for scrubs. I'm pink. Pink
Oh,
square.
pink. Oh, pink is the one after red. Wait, so red is the one before pink?
It goes, well, you start off as white, then you go to yellow, and then orange, and then pink. That's the highest one.
Oh. Damn, I must be colorblind, man, because I could have swore one of them was red. Bro.
Oh, you get on fighters, dog. Oh, I want to play so badly.
Dude, get on Soul Calibur. How about that shit?
Absolutely not. No. Ugh. No. The only reason I would ever consider Soul Calibur is because of 2B, my love. She's in that game.
Ugh.
But my interest is not strong enough to play Soul Calibur. If you ask me to get on Tekken or something, you're like, okay, maybe.
Limitform doesn't have the capacity in order to play a 3D moving fighting game.
Hey, no, stop that. No. You don't have the capacity to see me in fighters right now. That's what the real problem.
Nah, man. It's like, yo, see me in you want to see me in a team-based fighting game? Yo, see me in Marvel. How about that?
I have never played Marvel a day in my life. I want you to know.
Okay. All right. We got our first question. I got one. What do you think about the locations or worlds we get to see in Quadranum? So I feel that I was talking to Lim earlier on the stream about this. I feel that Quadranum, like the Quadranum game, is gonna be so different from Kingdom Hearts that we're not gonna have worlds per se when we go, when we travel between them in the usual Kingdom Hearts way. I feel that Quadranum is gonna be this big ass world, and we're gonna be traveling districts, right? We're gonna go to Shibuya, we're gonna go to Shinjuku, we're gonna go to Harajuku. I feel that they're gonna be segregated in their own way to emulate what we know as worlds in Kingdom Hearts, and that's how Quadranum is gonna be. What do you think?
I 100% agree, because we said earlier in the stream, as regards to Quadranum, that it's a whole place. It's not just it's not like a city. It's a whole place, right? That's what we assume. So right. It'll have districts, and they'll basically mimic how we see worlds in KH in Quadranum. So that's pretty much all I can really say about that until we see Quadranum and how they actually do it. I'm really interested.
All right, here's another one. Did anyone ever think about, while Sora is still alive, he did, in a sense, fade out of existence because he passed into Quadranum, aka the world of fiction? Yeah, that's basically, yeah. Like, where's the question here? That's like I'm pretty sure that's been confirmed since Remind, bro. Like, yeah, nah, that's the thing. All right. Do you think we'll get any references to The World Ends With You and The World and Neo The World Ends With You in the Quadranum? I do not think so. I really don't. I mean, references probably, like, maybe, like, we see, like, a fucking Neku plushie or some shit. But I really don't think we're going to get some really hardcore story implications because The World Ends With You has always been its own thing that cameoed in Kingdom Hearts. Same thing with Final Fantasy, but Quadranum, this version of Final Fantasy Versus 13, is its own original thing to Kingdom Hearts, and that's what Kingdom Hearts always has dealt with. So personally, I don't think so. But what do you think, Limit?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it'll just boil down to references at most. I don't think there'll be any like real connections to the games at all. I don't see it happening. But again, Nomura can do anything that he wants to, so I don't know. It should just boil down to references at the very most. Because I know when it comes to Remind and you're fighting against your Zora, there's a bunch of billboards that people have gone out of bounds to see. And I know there's a reference to Final Fantasy 13 itself with like Lassie and stuff like that. So again, we'll see some references, but there won't be any direct connections.
Right. Oh, the one true blue. Oh, you're going to like this theory. I was actually writing this theory, and here's a little sneak peek to it. The video's coming soon. The question is, what do you think about the idea of the world that never was being connected to Quadranum, a city full of tall buildings that doesn't exist? All right, let me spiel you out a line of events, my friend. All right, Limit, check this out. Right, you know how Xehanort, knew about this fictional world for a while, and that Yen says like, oh, can you confirm this information came during his time as a researcher? That's Apprentice Xehanort, which predates the entity of Xemnas, and as we all know, Xemnas had a hand literally in creating the world that never was, because that was literally like the remnants of the worlds that kind of mirrored that of the end of the world or whatever, the world that never was. Since Xemnas is the nobody of Apprentice Xehanort, what do you think he based that world on when he built it?
Okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down here. Okay.
So consider that, my friend. That's the connection. Xemnas literally building blocks of light. All right, next one. Let's see. My head kind of. Do you think all right? The biggest, like the main question from Green Knight is: do you think Quadram is going to be a smaller game? Absolutely not. Nope. No, I don't think it's gonna be a smaller game. There will never be a game smaller than that of 0.2. Should I even be counted as a game? That's when the game is.
It's definitely a tech demo. I wouldn't call it a game. But, you know, it's a thing that happened. You know.
Right. It was fun, but
yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. What do you think Luxord's purpose is? I honestly think that he's Yozor's butler. Like that's his main dude. Like Yozor, I feel like Luxor probably had a hand in raising Yozor. He probably I still want this fan art to be made in my head. I like just a fan art of just like Luxor in a butler outfit and teaching little baby Yozor how to play solitaire. And I'm like, I really think like he was like kind of like the like I think he's literally like Yozor's Alfred. You know, like that butler / pseudo father figure for Yozor. That's what I think Luxor's purpose is. You know, that's what I think. What do you think, Limit?
You said it, the money right on money. I think it's just his butler and or father figure quotation marks. Yeah. Like it's all that we can really infer for right now. But from what we obviously have, that's what it is. You know, call him commander and all that. So he's just his butler. Rasengan is rising, whatever.
Do you think there's a specific reason why Rox is still able to dual wield? Like the biggest thing I put 2 and 2 together when it comes to Roxas still being able to dual wield is because remember Roxas is using a vessel replica. There you go. Shit. He's using a replica, right? And the heart and the memories they were able to use to like place Roxas within the replica was during his time that he was able to dual wield, right? So it's literally the replica is replicating his powers of Roxas as it knows it in order to give Roxas the power in order to dual wield. We see that right away with other replicas such as Xemnas and some not TARawson, technically Vene's Dark, Raikou, and whatnot. You know, like the memories and hearts attached to the replica replicates the abilities that person had at the time of what they know it as from gaining those hearts and memories, even though he shouldn't really have the ability to do it, but he does because his replica is able to give that prowess to him. So yeah. Oh, here's a good question that me and you can answer. I'll let you get this one first. Limit. Mm-hmm. Will Sora ever become a master, and do you want him
to? That's a really good question. I personally do not care if Sora becomes a master or not. Sora is a literal god in my book. He's my boy. I'm already like, as soon as he comes back and everything's all good again, that's all I really want for Sora at this point in time. Him being a master is irrelevant because he's as good, if not, like, he's as good as every other master, all right? So, just because it's like, I guess that really just depends on what the title of a Keyblade Master means to you specifically as you're playing the game, but me, I'm fine with him not being one. If he becomes one, cool. If not, it's still the same Sora at the end of the day.
Right. And honestly, I feel it's better that he's not a master. I honestly like him better not as master because it really helps drive home the whole notion of Sora's character that he is an ordinary boy that came from nowhere that is able to achieve greatness, which is a great message to tell everyone on this earth, right? And so, like, giving him master kind of takes away, giving him the title of master, it kind of takes away from that whole identity. So I'm good with Sora not being. He doesn't need to be one, Like, he beat the shit out of Master Xehanort, the most powerful master in existence other than the Master of Masters. Like, so he doesn't need to be a master. It's just a title that people's like, oh, it'll be cool for Master Sword. I'm like, he doesn't need it. He doesn't.
Whatever. He don't need it.
Yeah. All right. Another question from Beta Shokan. You think Raikou will end up involved in the Quadram game, or do we just get the Azora story? Yo, what's with these questions that you like? What's with these? Like, that's the second time you asked a question that literally, like, answers itself. Like,
yeah,
like bro, did you not see the ending of Melody Memory? Like, yeah, man. Like, yes, man, yes. All right, let's see what else we got. All right, Roxas Otaku. I'm gonna rephrase this question, but I basically get the idea of what you're saying. Do you think other games that Nomura worked on, example, The World Ends with You, etc., will be locations in the Quadram world? I don't think they're gonna be locations, but I do think, like, because Kingdom Hearts has been doing that. I feel that we're gonna see references, characters, possibly at most within the Quadram world. Lim and I were talking about the notion of Cloud earlier in the stream, but I definitely feel that we'll see some stuff. Like, Kingdom Hearts has always been doing it, and I feel that this game is going to be no different, but it's going to be differently adapted. So, Limit, I just want to throw that question over to you. In what way do you think we'll see, any other works that isn't Kingdom Hearts being represented in a possible Quadram game like this?
The possibilities, we covered it earlier, the possibilities are actually endless with what they could really do in Quadram. Like, it's so broad that I cannot give you a direct answer of what they could possibly do. They can do anything they want to. They could use more areas from The World Ends with You, which isn't really much from what I can tell. I haven't beaten the game yet. And then there's also the possibility of Final Fantasy and how they can tie that in as well. Maybe different places from Final Fantasy. I don't know. I assume that if they were to pull anything from anywhere, it would be Final Fantasy at this point. Maybe from, I don't know, like really famous games like 10 or 7 or what mind you. But anything could happen. I wish I could answer the question, but I don't know. Like, yeah, for example, they could say Midgard. Some type of representation of that in the game would be pretty cool to me. It could also tie in with how Cloud could be in the game, how Sephiroth could be there, stuff like that. So I think that's probably the bare minimum of what we can expect in terms of what they can include in Quadram.
Right. Yo, Axia, thank you so much for the gift subs, man. All right, here's another question. Oh, here we go. I already know this. I already know the answer to the question as soon as I saw like one word in the question. What are your thoughts about Final Fantasy VII Remake tie into Kingdom Hearts eventually? No, none. My thoughts are none. Zero. No, it's not going to happen. Because one thing that a lot of people really need to understand, and I feel that this gets really, really lost in translation, right, is that Kingdom Hearts, when they represent Final Fantasy characters, and this does not include Yozora, because Yozora is obviously adapted from a Final Fantasy character or a Final Fantasy design when it comes to Noctis, just like how Sora is basically the bouncer. We're not talking about that. But Final Fantasy characters within Kingdom Hearts are their own version. There's literally Kingdom Hearts version of characters that are based off of characters from the Final Fantasy series. Like Cloud is not from Midgar in Kingdom Hearts. He's from what do you call him? He's from Radiant Garden. All that good. Sephiroth is literally the manifestation of Cloud's darkness. He's not a super soldier that existed way before Cloud, and then Cloud, began this whole identity crisis with Zack and all that stuff. Like, so, the idea, the notion that Final Fantasy VII Remake having any type of bearing onto Kingdom Hearts at all, in terms of, like, a story being tied into, like, it's like, no, obviously we, like, me and Limit were both there when that whole community mess was happening, when people were arguing about how Final Fantasy VII Remake was different from the original Final Fantasy VII when it comes to the whispers and the time displacement and all that shit. That, like, don't feel that's going to connect in any ways. Like, oh, look at Nomura dealing with time travel again. No. Don't feel that that's going to connect in any way, shape, or form to Kingdom Hearts, because it never did from the beginning, and it's not going to now just because, like, oh, Final Fantasy VII just came out. The only thing that will connect Final Fantasy VII Remake to Kingdom Hearts is if they decide to lift their designs. That's it. That is it. You know,
Pretty much.
they put Barrett in Kingdom Hearts finally. They lift his, you know, his remake design. They bring Tifa back. They lift her remake design. They bring Sephiroth and Cloud back. They lift their remake designs. That's it. That's it. So don't get it twisted.
Mm-hmm.
But ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it for today's stream. Thank y'all so much for coming out. I've had a blast, and I had a blast with my guest Limit. Yo, Limit, thank you so much for coming out, man. It's been fun. It's been a blast.
Of course, that was actually so good to be a part of. So I really thank you for inviting me to be a part of the Fifth Dimension. It was awesome,
man. Yo, I'll be glad to have you back, man. Yo, just keep your DMs open as always. Holy shit! But as this is the Fifth Dimension, ladies and gentlemen, which is also a Twitch stream, a Twitch team that I also run, we are gonna throw it on over to another very capable up and coming Twitch streamer. You know what? So for today, we are gonna go ahead and throw it on over to. Wow, there's a lot of people streaming. You know what? We're gonna throw up to a mutual friend of ours. You know, we're gonna throw this party all over to Glaxon13, our boy Logan. And we're gonna see how he's doing. He's currently streaming Pokemans, the Poke of the Mans and whatnot. He is another member of the Fifth Dimension, and this broadcaster has indicated that this channel is intended for mature audiences. You can hear this coming from the fucking, like, holy shit, like, damn, like, fuck, oh, God. I just literally went, like, four like, swears in a row, like, whatever. So we're gonna rate him, and whatnot, and tell him that the Fifth Dimension, sent y'all. And now that the Fifth Dimension is back after the 3-week hiatus, we're gonna be back next week for another awesome episode. So guys, until the next episode, be sure to dive deep, be brave, and enter the Fifth Dimension. This has been HMK and Limitform72, and we will check you guys later.
Later.